Hello, everyone. How y'all doing today? My name is Gene Rice, and I am the primary facilitator, coach, and consultant and trainer that's a part of Gene Rice Ministries. I'm excited that you are here, and I want to just discuss with you very briefly um, the topic that we have been looking at for quite some time now. But we're trying to refine that topic just a little bit better, and we're going to continue to narrow the focus of the topic. But right now, we want to keep it broad, and we want to start exploring this topic and how does this topic relate to what we're going through right now. So the title of this lesson is uh, developing vision for the 21st century. All right, it's very important that we start thinking about, and I'm quite sure we're 2 decades into this century now, all of the different types of changes that have taken place. One of the things that I've been looking at is the different generational cohorts. All right. And right now, I think we have approximately 6 generations that are currently living. All right. And so the first generation that we're looking at, or the oldest generation, will be the what they call the traditionalists or the silent generation. These are individuals who were born somewhere around the 1920s, 1930s, up until about the mid 1940s. All right. Um, and then immediately following the traditionalist and silent generation, we have the baby boomer generation. For a long time, they were the largest population of people that existed. And so those that time span goes from about 1945 and 1946 all the way up until about 1965 or 1970. You're going to have different people. They're going to have uh, different time uh, points that they're going to cap it off. So somewhere from the mid 1940s to about the mid 1960s to late 1960s, we have the baby boomer generation. Immediately following them, we have the Gen X, probably one of the shorter and smaller populations out of all the generations. I'm a part of that generation. So individuals born from somewhere around mid 1960s or late 1960s, all the way up until about 1979 or 1980. All right. And then immediately we move into uh, the probably the largest generation that's out there now, which is the millennial generation, Generation Y, which spans from about 1980 to 1996 ish, all right, to like the mid 1990s, all right. And it's this population of people that are really dominating the workforce right now. So we have people probably somewhere in their low 40s or late 30s, all the way down to about their low 30s or somewhere in their late 20s. All right. And so this population of people right now are really dominating the world in terms of population size. They are basically our culture and a lot of what's going on is reflective of this generation right now. All right. And then following Generation Y, we have Generation Z. This generation, again, probably spans somewhere from the mid to late 1990s to about somewhere around 2010 ish. All right. Or the first couple of years immediately following the first decade of the 21st century. All right. And then the current generation that's being populated right now and is still ongoing is Generation Alpha. All right. So a quick recap. We have the traditionalists or the silent generation, have the baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z, and then Generation Alpha. So about 6 generations we have populated right now. The reason why I highlighted that right off the top is because maybe it will give us a understanding where someone is coming from when we're having certain conversations with them. All right. For instance, myself, someone that's a part of Generation X. So my generation, we call it probably the tail end of black and white television and the radio, the 8-track cassette, and then you have the regular tape cassette to records. Um, Man, that just really bringing back memories right now. So you're looking at someone who's coming from that generation, and by the time I was graduating high school, well, that's when computers were starting to come onto the scene in different environments, such as school and in different places in business. But a big part of my upbringing, if you were trying to write a report or talking about putting together some type of formal document, the typewriter was a big deal. And I'm really dating myself, just reflecting on that. When you start talking about cell phones, it went from a phone that was fixated on a wall in the house, and then we was a part of the development of the cordless phone, and then part of the development of the first wireless phone or cellular phone that was operating from towers. And then those things were very bulky, and those things were also fixated within someone's car. And even before that, there was the pager. All right, the pager was a big deal. Who needs a pager now when you have all that instant capability on a phone? So I brought that up just to and then we're not even talking about the baby boomers who have certain experiences that dates to their upbringing and their childhood that even someone from Generation X cannot relate to. All right, much less someone who has great recall from the traditional or the silent generation. And so, if you look across the span of about 3 generations, the silent generation, baby boomers, Gen X, there's going to be certain experiences, a certain way of thinking about certain things that's going to be quite different from subsequent generations. All right, a lot of the transitions are really taking place during the millennial generation, and then by the time we're talking about people who were born that's a part of Generation Z, we're talking about a whole different experience now. We're talking about a whole different world that they are growing up in and are experiencing their life and building their perceptions, their thoughts, and everything is different. All right, it's different. Different is not necessarily bad. I mean, different is just that. It's different. It's only maybe problematic is when we try to impose one experience on top of another. All right, without taking in considerations all those different factors and things that have changed. All right, so it's important that when we're having conversations with each other and we're sharing with each other, is that we take at least some of those things into our thinking. All right, who is this person? Where are they coming from? What is a basic understanding of the background and the world in which they grew up in? All right, or are growing up in, and that will give us at least a good starting point for developing understanding when we start to communicate with each other. All right, that's simply operating on a personal level or interpersonal level. But think about all of the organizations and groups and leaders that are also in our society. All right, so a lot of let's say someone from generations about the millennial and prior, just think about how that person was developed in terms of what is leadership, what does leadership look like, what is an organization, and what does an organization look like, and how should an organization be ran. All right. And so you're going to have people who are going to come from those ideas, those developments. And the interesting, and I know I'm going hitting a lot of different things real quick, but the interesting thing about that is that even within certain cohorts, the variations are going to grow and widen as time moves on for the following reason. There are going to be some people, they're going to reach a ceiling and they're going to cap off, and all of their experience moving forward is going to be based on that cap. All right. So, whatever that level of experience development is, that's it. Everything, how the way they see the world, the way the world operates is going to be capped at that point. And we're talking about within the same generation now. And so, but you're going to have other individuals, they're going to continue to learn, develop, and evolve and be and build a response capability to respond to the changing times. All right, the evolutions of how things are progressing. And so even within a same generation, you're going to have some, they're going to continue to raise that ceiling, continue to raise that bar, so that they maintain some type of functionality as the new generations come in, as different things change within society, and they're going to change with those things. All right. And then you're going to see even a variation within a generation. So imagine this. Imagine if you have that type of variation within a generation. Can you imagine the vastness in terms of differences and experiences that's going to exist across generations? All right. So, what does all that have to do with developing vision for the 21st century? Well, I think it kind of make a strong point in terms of having a 20th century mindset and experience, all right, and level of development, and then being able to operate and function in the 21st century. There are so many changes, so many differences, and it is um, I would say, somewhat prudent for us to start thinking about those changes and thinking about our experience, our ability to get things done, to meet certain challenges that we face in this day and time, along with being able to seize certain opportunities. All right. So I just wanted to give you that introduction into developing vision for the 21st century. We're going to come back on here and we're going to explore what that really means and how we can leverage developing vision. All right. A new way of looking at vision, a new way of constructing and crafting vision that is inclusive of all of the changes that have already taken place, but also starting to project. All right, it's very important. That's what vision, if we really utilize vision the way that is beneficial, vision is to take into account our past experiences, but also gives us a mechanism of projecting forward so that we can meet those challenges ahead and be prepared. All right. So again, my name is Gene Rice and from Gene Rice Ministries, and I look forward to sharing more with you real soon. So until next time, you all take care.